Morning, peeps. Good morning. How's everyone doing? Hopefully everyone's doing very, very well. All right, let's see what's going on in the world of boxing today. I've got a feeling that this is going to be a long video, just because I know there are a few stories floating about. Before we start, a bit of personal news about me, just because I like to keep you guys updated with what I'm doing. TalkSport called me a couple of days ago, and they want me to co-host their UFC Fight Island coverage, which is quite big. It's quite a big deal, that is, people. And I like it because obviously it's MMA. I don't want to just be stuck in boxing. I do want to kind of move. Obviously with Sky Sports, I've done some football stuff with them, obviously boxing stuff, and now MMA stuff, which I've done before for other channels, but for TalkSport, it's quite a big deal. So I've been up all night studying. I'm pointing because I've got all like my notes. I'm just like all my notes of studying. Like, I don't know how many pages that is. I'm just studying, like knowing everything about every fighter. It's a bit long, but you got to do it. You don't want to be on air and get caught out. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to be. So yeah, my first day, still boiling. My first day is, I say first day, first morning is Saturday, but really Sunday morning. Obviously UFC 251, Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal. So that's the first one. All right, what's going on in the world of boxing? Frank Warren on UK boxing return. I'm not allowed to go. I'm not essential enough. I doubt that's true, Frank. I doubt that's true that you're not allowed to go. I know they are. I read this article last night. I know that they're limiting the amount of people that can be in the venue to 65, which might sound a lot, but that's not a lot, you know. Honestly, it's not a lot at all. I mean, cameramen or women will probably take up 6 or 7 of those. Then you got judges, you got referee, you got fighters, you got staff that will have to be in the building. Actually, then you got fighters, you got the fighters. Obviously you got the fighters, but then you got the, I don't know how many, like normally in a fight camp, how many people normally in a fight camp? 4 or 5? They might have to reduce that. But yeah, you know, I've not even had a look at this show. Actually, we'll check it in a bit. I'm not quite sure. Actually, let's check it now. I'm not quite sure who's on this. 2 secs. I know it's headlined by Brad Foster. Or is it? I think it is headlined by Brad Foster. So a quick little peek at this show. I feel bad. I've not actually said anything about Frank Warren's show. There are timestamps. If you don't want to hear this, you know you can just fast forward. All right, let's have a quick butchers. Event. I saw Paul Dempsey yesterday. Is Paul Dempsey in at the BT Sports presenter? So obviously the event's at Stratford. So I saw him out jogging. So I'm guessing he's here covering that event. Did anyone even want to know that piece of information? All right, so what was it? 5-fight card, which is, by the way, what the British Boxing Board of Control have said it can only be. All right, so it's headlined by Brad Foster versus James Beach Jr. That's for the, what's that? Commonwealth and British Super Bantamweight titles. It's decent, right? We got Hamza Shiraz versus Paul Keane for the WBO European Super Welterweight title. We got Mark Chamberlain 5-0 versus Stu Greener, lightweight bout. You got heavyweight bout Dorin never heard of this guy, Krasmaru 2-0 versus Phil Williams 3-24. And you got another heavyweight bout, David Adeleye 1-0 against Matt Gordon 2-1. First one, innit? First one. Look, it could be better. You got a British title fight on there, Commonwealth title fight, but let's be honest, it could be better. But it is the first one. All right, what else we got to talk about? They've asked to score that card out of 10. Like, You wouldn't want me to score out of 10. But again, first one. Canelo taking significant pay cut in next fight, says Golden Boy Prez. That's interesting because I did think his deal with DAZN was in stone. That's what I was sort of getting at. Like, is he going to get paid the 30+ million he's used to getting paid, even though the fight's behind closed doors? And obviously now the answer is no. So if he can take a significant pay cut, what's significant, 30%, 20%, then his opponents who have been coming out saying they're not going to take a Canelo lowball offer need to understand that they need to take a significant pay cut. If the biggest boxer in the world can take a cut, they can take a cut. Let's see if this changes their attitude. I think the Golden Boy Prez today did say that there's a good chance that it might be John Ryder or Callum Smith, which is interesting. I did think that it wouldn't be a title fight. It's like they're all contradicting each other. A couple of weeks ago, I'm sure they said no title fight, right? Callum Smith obviously has titles, a couple of titles. So I don't know. I've got a feeling it would be John Ryder, and I hope, I'd love it to be John Ryder. I really would. After that performance against Callum Smith, where I thought he won, where I think a lot of people thought he won, it wasn't a robbery. It kind of was. It would be nice for him to jump the queue and just get the Canelo fight. Obviously, he would have loved it to be, I don't know, bigger fight in terms of crowd being there, just the build up. But regardless, it would be nice for him to get that paycheck, because it will be a significant increase in anything he's ever got. So it'll be good for him. Chris Arreola talks to fight Andy Ruiz, looking good. It will be exciting. When did Arreola? I feel like, when did Arreola last fight? I have a feeling he fought last year, sometime last year. So he's not inactive as much as I think he is. Although, let's be honest, I mean, he's nearly 40. I think he might even be 40, Arreola. Arreola fought Adam Kalinacki. When was that? 3rd of August last year. He lost. I don't know, man. You know what they're going to do? They're obviously going to build it up. Mexican versus Mexican, right? They're going to build it up. Former world title challenger versus former world Mexican heavyweight champion. Blah, blah, blah. The thing is, Arreola will bring it, though. Arreola will make that an exciting fight for a few rounds. I know it's not the ideal opponent for Andy Ruiz. It isn't. I think Andy Ruiz should be fighting better than that. But he'll make it exciting. And, hey, as long as it's exciting, right? Carlos Takam, I want anyone in the top 5 or title shot. You're not going to get that after beating Jerry Forrest. I mean, no shame in asking, but you're not going to get that. But credit to Carlos Takam, came in on late notice after obviously Jarrell Miller pulled out after failing another drugs test. And I think it was good to keep Jerry Forrest on the card as well. Give him a paycheck, right? A lot of these boxers low down. What the fuck was that? Anyway, a lot of these boxers low down don't make great money. So it was good that he was kept on the card. And I think Carlos Takam is, look, if you're fighting Jarrell Miller, some may argue that Carlos Takam's actually a tougher opponent. Honestly, Carlos Takam's proven, right? He's a tough man. Strong, always stays in shape. And although it was late notice for Carlos Takam was supposed to fight Oscar Rivas last month. So he was in relatively good shape. So it wasn't like he was coming off his settee, coming off his sofa. Settee, sofa. What's the difference in them two? I'm not going to search it now. What's the difference? Anyway, it's not like he's coming off his sofa. He was in fighting shape as well. So credit to both. But yeah, going back to it, Carlos Takam's not going to get a top 5 shot. And he's definitely not going to get a fucking world title shot. I'm trying to think of a good name for Takam. Winner of JOYCE DUBOIS. We're going to talk about them because they're moving on and they're doing exactly what I think they should do, which is fighting other opponents in the interim before fighting each other. But I don't know, that could be a good one. There's loads of guys out there. Michael Hunter, but I don't think they're going to match that up now, especially with Michael Hunter not being with Matchroom. I don't know, yeah, they could match Michael Hunter up. I mean, Carlos Takam's almost like a mercenary for hire right now. There are loads of matchups for Carlos Takam. He's got a name, right? Carlos Takam's a good guy. Good guy. I'd be happy to see him get another big payday. Seems like a good guy in boxing. There aren't many good guys in boxing. Shakur Stevenson confirms he'll stay at 130 pounds, give up WBO featherweight title. That's a surprise. That's how little these belts mean nowadays, really. I mean, just giving up a title. Just give it up, don't mean anything. I was going to go to 130 where I don't have a belt. It's not like I've gone to 130 and I've got a belt and then I can decide. You don't have a belt at 130. I don't know, maybe he's got a title fight lined up at 130, but I'm surprised by that because there are good matchups at 126 for him. Gary Russell Jr., who will probably go up to 130 anyway. Josh Warrington, maybe he's tired of those conversations. I don't know, but that surprised me. You know what it is? How difficult is it for him to make 126? Maybe he's just thinking it's just not worth it. I'm killing my body to make 126. He is a young man growing. So maybe 130 is best for him. But again, it does shock me how these kids are giving up belts just like that, right? That belt, Oscar Valdez gave up that belt to jump up, and now he's giving it up. It was that belt, right? Yeah, it is. I don't know, boy. What else we want to talk about here? What else have we got? All right, let's talk about, it's going to be on there somewhere. I can't see it, but I'm sure it's on there somewhere. Katie Taylor versus DELFINE PERSOON. That rematch has now been confirmed. Obviously, DELFINE PERSOON replacing Amanda Serrano. So the pay-per-view card looking a bit better. Before it was Katie Taylor versus question mark. Now it's Katie Taylor versus DELFINE PERSOON. Again, just to remind everyone, so far on that pay-per-view card, we have Povetkin versus DILLIAN WHYTE, Kuzman versus Bakoli, Clay Congo, Katie Taylor PERSOON. I'm sure Eddie's going to put one more on there. You can only do one more as well. A lot of people have been asking that the fight card's a bit weak in terms of numbers. You can only do 5. It's only 5 fights allowed now. And that's obviously the British Boxing Board of Control put that in. I just want to double check something about DELFINE PERSOON. I know she had the fight in the Olympics where she tried to qualify, but missed out. Who she fought? Okay, yeah, I thought so. She fought Helen Joseph, the Nigerian. Tough Nigerian, by the way, after Katie Taylor. It's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a good fight. She's going to bring it again. So let's see. Let's see. I mean, for Katie Taylor, this could be a tougher fight than Serrano. I don't know. Could be, you know, because, again, just styles make fights, right? And Katie Taylor, unfortunately, got involved in a brawl. She should have tried to box, and we all know Katie Taylor can box. She's very good at boxing. She should have done that. She got involved in a brawl, and that suited DELFINE PERSOON down to the T. So let's see what new things Katie Taylor can bring to the table. Again, she's not really prepared for DELFINE PERSOON. And I mean, some will say that DELFINE PERSOON wasn't really prepared for Katie Taylor. DELFINE PERSOON didn't even have a fight schedule. So, I mean, DELFINE PERSOON's got to get in shape very, very quickly. I don't even know what weight she walks around at. She could be a big girl and she has to cut 20 pounds now. Whereas Katie Taylor, we know, is in fighting shape now. She's moving into this in fighting shape. She does have a lot of time. She's got 6 weeks to get in shape, and that should be enough. But yeah, it's a good addition to the card. I just want one more on there. Just want one more, just for peace of mind, so everyone can kind of stop moaning, including myself. One more. It's not going to be Huey Fury, Dave Allen. We know that. But what have we got? We've got a world title shot. We've got a final eliminator. Clay Congo is a British title shot, I'm guessing, and they're going to make Bakoli Kuzma for something. You know, it is some sort of, I don't know, silver, interim, something, regular. We'll see. All right, what's this about Joe Joyce and Daniel Dubois? All right, Daniel Dubois, I want to deliver big against FIFA, then KO Joe Joyce. Let's have a quick look at this Daniel Dubois opponent. I know it's not going to be anyone of note, but I did say that they both need to have a fight in the interim, especially if their fight is scheduled for, we're here in October, November now. They can't be on the shelf for this long. You need a fight, not sparring, a fight. You need the feeling of doing a camp. You need the feeling of walking to the ring. You need the feeling of the ref giving you instructions. You need all of that. There's an MMA fight, Henry Cejudo. who is the champ, who's now retired, so he says. But for fight camps, he actually has, instead of sparring, which is still sparring, but he actually has proper ring walks. So he'll get the fighter to ring walk with their music. He plays the music. He does all the thing where the referees and MMA check your ears, check everything, check your gum shield, weigh-ins, all that stuff, and then they go into the ring and spar or fight, just to get into that feeling of having a real fight. That's why I think it's important that Daniel Dubois and Joe Joyce both have fights. So this Eric FIFA, so this fight's 29th of August. Eric FIFA is 7-0. Who is he? From Belgium. Has he fought anyone of note? Okay. Last time fought Adnan Redzovic, who was 21-3. Before that, wasn't really floating around fighting just nobodies really. But look, he's an unbeaten guy. He's going to come in and try. So, and that's all we can ask for, right? So, yeah, it's good. Who's Joe Joyce fighting? Let's have a look. Butchers at Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce is fighting Michael, I know this guy, Michael Wallich. I've heard of that name before. On the 25th of July. Another German. So the other one was German as well, by the way. He has a record of 20-3. Of those 20 wins, 13 knockouts. Of the 3 losses, 3 knockouts. He's actually coming off, that's why I know the name. He's coming off a knockout loss to Tony Yoka. And that was on the 28th of September last year. I thought I knew the name from somewhere. But look, again, no one expected these guys to be in with killers, right? You just wanted these guys to be in a fight. And I think it's important that they are having a fight. I feel like Chisora should be doing this as well. I'm shocked he's not. I think Chisora should be fighting someone like that. Again, no one that's going to cause you problems, although this is heavyweight boxing, you never know, but just something. So, yeah, let's see what Chisora does, because, again, all these fights, just nothing's been said about Chisora Usyk. I keep saying it, but nothing's been said, and I think Chisora should get a run out somewhere. And I think people would accept the run out. We wouldn't go screaming crazy if he fights a bum. We wouldn't. What's this? Helenius willing to face Luis Ortiz or Andy Ruiz in final eliminator. Obviously, Helenius coming off that good win against Kalki, and these are the names that he should be looking for. I'm happy when he's calling these names out. These are the names he should be asking for. I don't know why Luis Ortiz would be a final eliminator. Like, why would any of these guys be a final eliminator? Final eliminator for whose belt? Like, Luis Ortiz is coming off a knockout loss. Andy Ruiz stunk out the place by weighing nearly 300 pounds. A final eliminator should be not against a name. A final eliminator should be against someone coming off a win. Or at least, look, Michael Hunter deserves something. I know he didn't come off a win, but a lot of people thought he won that fight. It was a draw against Povetkin. He should be in a final eliminator spot. Not people coming off losses just because they have name value. It's crap. Crap. All right, last couple of bits. What's this one? Lomachenko versus Lopez, now targeted for October 3rd, says Aram. I feel like we're just doing guesswork with these. It's almost just guesswork, isn't it? Like, because September, October, November. I mean, again, like, I get it. They don't know when this second wave is coming, and we're hearing a second wave of COVID is coming. So I guess it can only be guesswork. But maybe, I don't know, remove that and do what Dana White's doing. Not Fight Island. That's obviously massive. I get that. You can't do that, right? The money just isn't there to do that. But like the way they were putting fights on behind closed doors, and was it the Performance Institute Center? Do something like that. Just guarantee that you're going to put these fights on. Like, I guess it's just they're so wanting a crowd. Maybe you ain't going to get a crowd. But we still got to get Lomachenko versus Lopez on. Maybe you're not going to get a crowd. But if you ain't going to get a crowd, I think the upside is you might get a spike in pay-per-view buys. Don't know. I don't know, man. But that fight needs to happen. We can't wait for these big fights to happen when a crowd returns. If that's what we're waiting for, then we're waiting until 2021. And that's not good for boxing. Some of these big fights have got to happen. And again, like the situation with Canelo maybe taking a lesser fight, if they can't happen, some of these big names have got to take fights against lesser opponents, but they've got to fight. They have to fight. Lomachenko has to fight. Lopez definitely has to fight because, boy, he needs to make sure that he stays in and around that weight class. And I think he might need to have a fight where he has to make weight. It's true. True story. All right, I think that's it. Other little bits, but you don't want to know about all these other little bits, do you? Do you? All right, what I did obviously speak about the last time I done Addy and Friends was, sorry, not like Addy and Friends, Today in Boxing was DILLIAN WHYTE split with Mark TIBBS. Obviously, whilst I was filming, I wasn't 100% sure that it was a proper split. I thought maybe it was just for this fight. Obviously, it's now been confirmed as a proper split. And I don't know. The question is, will it impact him against Povetkin? I mean, has it changed your thought process? If you thought DILLIAN WHYTE was easily going to beat Povetkin, which I think, not easily, but I think a lot of people maybe thought DILLIAN WHYTE would stop Povetkin sort of mid to late. Do you now think it's swung slightly in favour of Povetkin, those odds, right? So maybe it's a tougher fight now. Don't know. I personally don't think so. I think it's going to be a tough fight anyway. I don't think this has swung it either way. I am surprised by the split with Mark TIBBS. It's not just DILLIAN WHYTE, it's also Rakpour as well, the unbeaten cruiserweight. So, I don't know. Look, no one knows what goes on behind the scenes, right? I do feel sorry for Mark TIBBS. He's got DILLIAN WHYTE, and DILLIAN WHYTE's got himself, but he's helped get DILLIAN WHYTE to a mandatory position. So, you know, big fights were on the horizon, really big fights, right? Tyson Fury fight could possibly be next after this one. So that's what Mark TIBBS misses out on, and that's disappointing for him. I don't know who DILLIAN WHYTE's trainer is going to be. We'll wait and see. What I did try to say on my last video wasn't that you don't need a trainer. I think people might have confused me because I was mentioning that there was a UFC fighter called Mike Perry who didn't have a trainer in his last fight. He only had his girlfriend in his corner. I'm definitely not championing that. I think that's silly. What I'm trying to say is that once you get past a certain level, doesn't matter who the trainer in the corner is. That's what I was trying to get at. Doesn't matter who's giving you advice in that corner. Not sure. Honestly, I'm not sure. I remember listening to an interview with Bernard Hopkins, and he spoke about not needing a trainer anymore. But then again, that's Bernard Hopkins, right? But he also said it's good to have an ear or a voice in the corner, but he said he doesn't really need it. Like, he solves the problems himself. Like, he goes back to the corner and he kind of knows what he has to do. Obviously, I don't think DILLIAN WHYTE's on that level, but I don't know. We'll see how it impacts him or how it helps him in a Povetkin fight. I do think that in order to go to that next level, in the level where he can compete with AJ again, Fury, maybe even Wilder, maybe other guys coming up, you know, maybe the Usyks of the world, I do think he needs to go up another level. I do. I think he's number 3 or number 4 in the world, but I think he's like closer to number okay, good example. Man City, I always go to football, don't I? Man City, Liverpool, gone, right? Gone. Leicester, I think, who's third? Leicester, I think, are third, or is it Chelsea? But I think Leicester are third right now. But Leicester are much closer to Chelsea, Man United, Wolves than they are to Liverpool and Man City in terms of that gap. Maybe not points, because I think they're close to Man City, but you know what I mean, in terms of where they are, right? That race for the top 4 is between those chunk of players, like 5 of them. And I actually think DILLIAN WHYTE is closer to those guys below than he is to those guys. And I think in order to bridge that gap to the top guys, he does need to get better. And maybe he knows this, and maybe that's why he's got a new trainer. Who knows, right? We're just guessing right now until we hear from Mark TIBBS. Could be anything, could be any reason, could be difference of opinions, could be financials, right? Could be anything. But it is disappointing when you see guys that have come up since the AJ loss, come up together, won every fight together. You know, it's difficult when you see them split up. This is boxing.